How is everybody? Wow.
Great.
Just turn it down a notch. It's overwhelming. We got, is that Dan? Dan Brown?
Hey,
What's up, man?
Patrick, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. We are both Floridians now.
Hey, are you here?
Yeah, I'm in your backyard, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How you enjoying the summer so far?
It's hot and our air conditioner does not work.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a really cool house in a great area. You know, we're like 15 minutes from the beach, and we got an acre, more than an acre. But it comes with some catches. So I'm having a new air conditioner installed tomorrow, which is, yeah.
Where'd you end up?
I'll share it with you sometime when we're not on a
Gotcha. Sorry, I appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah.
So Patrick, I'm on your list and I don't know how or why or what this is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Well, so LeadSnap is, first of all, we started out as a marketing company. So a lot of the people that join in here are looking to learn marketing, especially local marketing. And then we have a software that supports that. That's not only used by marketing agency, but also by a lot of small businesses. So does that line up with you at all?
You know what? I think I own it.
Oh,
I own
okay.
a lot of crap, dude.
Well, this isn't crap, but
I know. I'm just saying, like, I'm an Infusionsoft partner, digital marketer partner. I'm partner with Roland and all that stuff. But LeadSnap, is that like a scraper? I have Seamless.
no, it's not. It's not a scraper. It's a CRM with a collection of tools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's a lot of automations, and you can manage your Google My Businesses, reputation management. You can kind of check the rankings on your Google My Business. A lot of stuff towards like local.
Okay, that's cool.
You want to sign up for a demo, man? I can walk you through it.
Yeah. Well, sure. Why not? I have because I have Infusionsoft, Green Rope, Groove, and like probably a couple other CRMs.
Okay.
But I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, this one really focuses on local, and it's specifically built for marketers.
But it's not what's it called with a white label, is it?
No, this is something that we built from the ground up. And
Okay, cool.
I think we compete with what's it called a lot. Like,
Yeah,
probably Go High Level is who you're talking about, right?
maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it.
No, it's cool, man. A lot of the people on here know about it, and a lot of them have moved from Go High Level, or they've chosen LeadSnap, or some of the people on here, they're not even using the product, they're just here for the coaching, right? So we do this call every Wednesday, so it's a lot. You'll see we're going to go through some like SEO stuff. We're going to talk about a couple new features today. We always started off with wins, so that's kind of where we are now at the beginning of this meeting. So Beerend, it's good to see you tuning in from the Netherlands. First, is it shown? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, Beerend. In Dutch, you say Beerend.
No, I was the last guy, the last gentleman there.
Hey, Patrick, real quick, is there any way to click a button and go live in the groups?
Not without our friend, I think.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Yeah. Okay. We got Sarah jumping in here. Okay. So who's got wins? We got any wins this week? Dan Brown, what's happening, man?
Hey, I apologize. I'm not on the calls very often. It's a difficult time for me, but I appreciate all that you do, all the training. I watch the calls pretty regularly, so I appreciate all the value that you add. And wins, I just want to again talk about how phenomenal the heat map is. I've signed up in the last month 3 new clients at about $1,500 a month, and the heat map has been the closer.
Yeah, that's a secret weapon, huh?
All I have to do is show that to them, talk about it, and we've got some great before and afters of heat maps that we've done for clients and lead gens, and so it just becomes almost a slam dunk. So I just wanted to brag on you a bit and tell you thank you and appreciate it. And then the other thing, both you and Jeff, I've learned so much about client relationships and how important it is to pick the right people to work with. So I had a meeting this morning with a client. He's been basically an SEO client for ours for about 4 years. We've killed it for him. He's gotten a bargain basement price. And today we just agreed to negotiate his price up to where he'll be, we'll get a flat percentage piece of everything he does, whether we generate it or not. And it's about a 10 times increase in what he's been paying us.
So you essentially
So-
got equity in it,
Correct.
yeah.
Yep.
that-
And
That's awesome.
it's really attributable to you, you guys, the training you do, the tools that you provided. So I just wanted to hop on and give you guys a big high five and tell you thank you so much.
Yeah.
Use your stuff all the time. I know I'm not on the calls, but I wanted to give you guys a shout out because I really appreciate all the hard work you have put into the system, continue to put in the system, and the training you provide, both you and Jeff. It's fantastic. So thank you. I won't take
Awesome.
up a lot
Yeah.
more time, but thank you.
Congratulations.
You're welcome, man. Congrats. It's great to hear this. This these calls have all been free. Like you don't have to have a subscription to jump on these, but the payment is for us, for Jeff and myself, and there's a lot of other people on our team that are contributing to these calls. Is hearing these stories and just realizing the impact that we can have. And you can say it's attributed to us, Dan, but there's a lot of people out there that are watching these calls that just don't take action with it. So we're just a guide, and you guys are the ones that take this stuff and run with it. And I've seen it time and time again. The people that are executing on this, it's just like they're the ones that have the wins, whether they're on the call or not. Some of them send me messages, and they'll send Jeff messages. They let us know, hey, I did this and it worked. And it's like, yeah, that's how we built our agency. That's how we automated our agency. That's how we, like you said, the client relations. So open book on pretty much everything we do in our agency. And the agency is what allowed us to have this, 17 software engineers working on this thing for a long time. We've trimmed the team a little bit, but we would have never been able to pay that without having a successful agency. And this is our exact like playbook that we're sharing with you guys. So it's awesome when when there's some wins from some of these strategies. So super appreciate it, Dan.
Yep.
Let's connect offline and let's
Would love to.
find a time to grab a drink, man.
Yep, would love that. Really would.
Okay.
So
cool.
I can't stay on, but I would just want to make sure I came on and gave you guys the kudos and just how much I appreciate it. And so thank you so much.
You're
It
welcome,
works.
man. Awesome.
It really works. All right.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
Good to see you, man. All right.
Good
take
seeing
care.
you. Bye.
Bye. All right. What's up, Mr. Beerend? Do you have a win?
Yeah, I have a huge win. So ever since I started out, I've been struggling to, get Google Business verified, especially from the Netherlands, not having access to Craigslist, and also probably lacking creativity because I probably could have done it through Facebook. But right now I have sent 18 postcards in the past 3 days, and I'm going to send 6 more tomorrow. And I want to have like 50 to 100 sent at the end of the next 30 days and see what happens, because my arrival rate was like exceptionally low. And I really want to get to the 15 Google businesses right now. I have like 2. So taking action, that's been a huge win for me, and creating the method for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, sometimes you got to twist these pieces around a long time before it snaps into place.
Mhm.
And then once it does, especially if it's the missing one, then you can just kind of take off from there. Obviously, Google My Business for us and our agency is that's one of the most important things. We have had like lost our Google My Business and had like a really good organic ranking and still had leads come in. But when you stack up 6 or 7 Google My Businesses on for one client, this is really where things can go from like, hey, they're paying me $500 a month to they're paying me $5,000, $10,000. And I've shared this with you guys. We have a client that's paying us $13,000 a month. We have a ton of Google My Business for him. So there's a strong correlation between like the amount of lines you have in the water and what it produces. So awesome, man. Congrats on that. Keep me posted.
Thank
Keep
you.
the group posted on how this unrolls with your getting to 15 first, right? And then hey, maybe you'll get
Mhm.
50 out of these 50 you sent. You never know. Probably not, but
I don't know. We're going to see.
see what happens. Yeah, cool. All right.
Hey,
Beerend, do
Patrick,
you mind?
real-
I know some of the stuff. I don't want to completely blow your cover. Should I share? Can I share some of the? I know that's the question people are going to ask. Can I share some of the tweaks that you've made that have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
we
right.
can talk about it.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. I know that you're spending a lot of time seasoning the Gmail accounts, right? That's been a big part of it for you. Is that
Mhm.
I think there's like 3 weeks that go by from the time that you set
Mhm.
this Gmail up, and then you're doing things like enrolling in some newsletters, right? Some
Yes.
like New York Times and stuff like this. You're
Mhm.
sending out emails, right? You want this to look real.
Yes.
You're paying a lot of attention to the IP address. So you're trying to, when you create the Gmail account, you want that IP address
Yes.
to be kind of in the city where you are.
Yes and no, because I'm from the Netherlands, I have to adjust to not being in the United States, but you being in the United States, it's not that big of a problem. So you should not be having that problem of that I've been having, because Google
Yeah.
sees like this guy is from the Netherlands setting it up in the United States. Doesn't make sense.
Right. So one of the ways that we've dealt with that in our agency is we've been setting up like a virtual machine on Amazon. So you can get
Yes.
like a virtual machine. And this is a
Mhm.
lot different than a VPN, because it's kind of like the analogy I always use for a VPN is like putting a mask on, so people don't know who you are, but we know that there's a mask there. And when you're dealing with something
Mhm.
that is about trust, you don't want to show up with
Mhm.
a mask on, right? So
Yes.
the virtual machine is actual, it's like a computer that you're logging into, and that it has an IP address. So you can choose one in the United States, and you have that like
Mhm.
American, and Amazon will give you like, it's almost like the first computer that was ever invented as of like for free. So you could potentially play Pac-Man on there, but you can't do much more. It runs super slow, but if you spend $20 a month, you can get a fast computer. And
Mhm.
I've got people from my team that log into this from all over the world that are managing this, and it's all going through that IP address. And one of the strategies I want to share tonight is something that I think we're going to be installing on the virtual machine to so that like we have a piece of software that we're going to use, and you can only install it on one computer. So we have a virtual machine, everyone can use it, right? So that's another use case that
Okay.
it might be useful. Okay, Beerend, so we season the Gmail account for a few weeks. Are there other things that
Mhm.
you're doing during this 3 weeks that I haven't mentioned?
I'm trying to create signals to show that I am from that particular city. So I sign up for a local guide, and the local guide asks you for the city you live in. I book a flight, and I request for updates on that flight, the prices. I subscribe to local channels. And there was one more thing I did. Yeah, you can also ask for driving directions in Google Maps. There's all these things. And I'm using 5 proxies right now, which is not a VPS. It's and also not a VPN. It's kind of different, and I'm still testing out if it's going to work or not. But I'm seeing when I search for am I, after putting in that data in the Google Guide, etc., I see it changing from like United States to that specific city, because Google is taking that data and seeing like, okay, this person is from that city. So
They're
that's why I did
kind of
it.
zoning in on you, right?
Yes.
So Beerend, the big thing that we're trying to accomplish here is, it seems like over the last maybe 2 months or so, the postcards, the receiving rate really went down for a lot of people, and that was something that we're adjusting to. It's not necessarily that we can't get them verified. We track what we receive, and we were receiving 1 out of 3 that we requested, and then it became 1 out of 9. So the idea here is to now get that back up. And okay, so we season the Gmail account, and then after 3 weeks or so, we request the postcard, right? That's kind of like some of the changes. And then
Yes, and you also don't want to send more than 1 postcard per day per IP address.
right.
So if you were going to set it up from your laptop, don't send out 5 at the same time or the same day.
Right.
Wait 1 day, or use like a VPS or a proxy.
Right. And
And
I would say,
this is
go
yeah,
ahead.
so I know Shift talked like 1 year ago on the Zoom about how he is having the person set it up from their home, like they create a Gmail account and then they instantly set up the GMP and postcard. The downside to this is that you have to hide address, and showing address is actually a ranking factor.
That's
But
right. It's a trust signal, right? If the address is shown.
it's a trust signal.
Yeah.
Like, but if you're having them set it up, there's like almost a guarantee that it's going to arrive, because the IP address literally matches the GMB address. And then
It's
also
super
the
clean.
Gmail account doesn't need H. Yes.
Yeah.
It's completely clean, and you can just send them an instruction video. I'm not doing it yet. It's my plan B, because I do want to show the address, and I know that people will not, like most of them, will not want to do that.
Right. Right. You guys, a lot of what has become common stance starts out just like this, where there's like a theory, we test it, we play with it, and then at some point Google changes the rules again, and then we are adjusting again and again. And the key is, when you're a business owner here, you're not like, it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to solve the problem, right? It's just you anticipate that, hey, there's going to be another issue that's going to come up, and you just solve it. And some people are going to get discouraged, and they're going to quit the game when like what they knew stops working for a little while. And then there's others that are going to just like, okay, that's just another bump in the road and another bump in the road. And I'll tell you, no matter what business you're in, things are going to be changing one way or another. And your ability to adapt is going to affect things, right? Even if you're in a business that's, hundreds of years old, a new competitor might come in, right? Like maybe there's going to be a pandemic, like all kinds of things can change things. Maybe there's a recession. So I think one of the most important things as a business owner is just like, you're a problem solver. So like whatever's in front of you, just like figure your way around it. Cool. All right.
Talk about something different. Like, you know what influences your problem solving skills? Exercise, sleep, and diet. If you don't sleep well, or you don't eat well, or you don't exercise, your cognition is going to decrease, and you're going to be less creative and able to solve problems.
Less motivated. And I know this is something that you're speaking from personal experience, where you made a big shift, and then you're kind of like reaping the rewards of having this like healthy lifestyle. Yeah. So that's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing all this stuff, Beerend. It's I know that our group members are going to get some serious value from it. All right, we are 20 minutes in, and I want to make sure we are good with our time. Does anybody else have a win to share before we go on? All right, cool. All right, so I am going to demonstrate a software that my team uses that is really it's helpful. It's great for doing audits. Maybe some of you guys have seen it. It's called Screaming Frog. It's a free software that have a paid version. So I've kind of got this loaded up into here. All right, we're gonna do this screen here. Okay, cool. Jeff, give me a thumbs up. Can you see my screen? Awesome. All right. So Screaming Frog, this is great for doing SEO audits. Like I said, this is a free software. So basically what you do, you can see I went and I searched for a Dallas remodeling company. That was my search. So I found one, this company. I have no idea who they are. Renowned Renovation. So Screaming Frog, as I said, free download. I put this in here. It probably took 60 seconds and it gathered all this data. So I mentioned last week how we're switching. We have so many assets. We have so many sites in our agency. It's become hard to stay on top of things. So we're really focused on Q3 is really for us is like going back to what are all the SOPs? What are the things that are important for us to measure? Let's pay attention to all of those. So now I have people on our team, and it's their job full time just to go and gather a list of metrics. So we're like checking page speed. I'm going to give you guys a list of all this stuff. We're still kind of building the system right now. So I don't want to give you half a list or 80% of a list, but measuring things like page speed, which Google My Businesses have less than 5 reviews. And then when that number is 0, which ones have less than 10 reviews. So the strategy is to have our team going through all the things that we think matter and that are going to influence our ranking, and find these deficiencies and then line up those deficiencies with an SOP to follow. So one of the things that we're building into this system is a Screaming Frog report. So Screaming Frog, we're probably not going to do this. Some of this stuff we're doing weekly, right? We're going to check our page speeds weekly because that stuff can change. Screaming Frog is kind of more of an audit that is going to look at a lot of parts and pieces of the website that maybe aren't going to change as much, or maybe they don't have the impact of, say, like, hey, I forgot to include the URL on my GMP. So, but this is great. So we're going to be doing this. I think what we decided is we divided the total number of sites. We took the total number of sites we had, and then we divided that by 90. So there's 90 days in a quarter, and we want to hit every site once a quarter. So we're just going to say, okay, that means that you need to do like, whatever, 20 per week. You need to go through this and look for some issues. And then within this, we said, here are the 12 things that we think we want to check on this quarterly basis. So let's just go through this. So you've got this, like, you have so much data. And again, this is free, and it took like 60 seconds or something for it to gather all this stuff. And with just a few minutes of time of looking this over, I can get a ton of information on all sorts of parts and pieces of the website that would probably take me hours to gather. Okay, so these tabs across the top are giving you this is the kind of like their categorical division of we'll kind of go through it and it'll make sense. So the internal, these are going to be internal. I believe this one is the internal links, but you can kind of see we've got all the different pages here. If I click on one, there's a bunch of extra information in here. So some of the stuff I'm paying attention to. So when we're doing our audits, this is what we're going to do, is we're going to look down this status code. So 200 means that that the page was found, it was received, it loaded, everything's cool. 301, that's fine. That means that there was a page and they said, hey, that page is no longer this URL. From now on, it's this other URL. So that's fine. If you see like a 404 where one's like timing out, then that's an issue that you want to deal with. Okay, so you can quickly go through this site. Look, they have can't remember where it is now, but they have 174 pages on the site. So you could even showing more. So they have some pages. So also I'm paying attention to this indexable thing. One thing that I caught here is I think they have some pages on here that's maybe they shouldn't be indexed. I'm not seeing them now, but when I was browsing through this, like this looks like just an image. So this image is probably located on some page, but they're also like have this on its own. So you don't need that on there. That's just kind of like a no value page. As we go through this, I don't really pay attention to the security. The response codes is what we were just looking at. You can go through and look at the URL, right? So these are all the URLs. This is great for finding, especially if you guys are using WordPress. If you don't de-index or set no index to some of your pages, you'll end up with pages like this, right? This is a script that doesn't really need to be indexed, right? It's just like watering down the value of your site. You can see there's like theme stuff here. So these are things that we can go in and set it to no index. So we're only indexing the good stuff. And it's not like, okay, this site has a collection of pages with some good content, but then there's these other pages that like, they don't really add any value. Page titles is definitely one that we pay attention to. So, and you can seriously geek out on Screaming Frog. And I want to make sure you guys don't get distracted from the bigger picture. Don't spend like 8 hours in here, 3 or 4 times a week on, unless you're like trying to solve a problem with the site, but there's bigger things. You just use this to kind of do an audit, right? And check things out. So here's the titles, and you can see the title length, right? And the pixel length. So I can't remember what it is exactly, but you can easily find that out and see, like, you don't want this to go too long because it's going to get cut off, right? If you look down, like this one's getting cut off, right? This one's 757. So that title is getting cut off. It's not optimized when it's getting cut off, right? We don't want this streaming off. And just so we know that the page title is what is actually showing in like the search result. And then you have the meta description, which is what shows below the page title, right? So this is that little paragraph. And so you have more space available for this. So I can quickly, this one's missing one, right? This professional qualifications. there is no, so we can go through and I can be like, oh, okay, all these pages need the meta description, right? So that would be something that my team would pick out, and then they would address that and they would come up with that description. It will also help you identify duplicates. Okay, so you can see right here, okay, it's saying 0, but I'm not sure because it looked like we had a duplicate there. Hang on one second. What did I just do? Oh, okay, there we go. So okay, so these are the ones that are missing it, right? So 22% of their pages are missing this. There's 39 pages that need to be fixed. It's saying that there's 0. I thought I saw some duplicates on there, so maybe there's some small differences. But that's another thing. You don't want to have those duplicates on there. This is a valuable opportunity for you guys to tell Google what this page is about. Meta keywords, you can kind of like, don't go crazy and spam this like a lot of people do, but you can put in, a keyword that is like, hey, this is the main focus of this page. You don't want to have more than one H1 on a page. Okay, so that should be the limit, right? You can see they have 2 occurrences of this get started and it's set up as an H1. There should only be one H1 for each page. They've got a number of these that have 2, so you can quickly point those out. You can also, you should have H2s. So H2s are going to essentially be a smaller header, right? And this is going to be like a subtopic on a page. So if this is about renovation, or maybe this is like the kitchen page, then maybe the H1 is going to be like kitchen remodeling Dallas, and then H2 could be countertops, another H2 could be cabinets, another H2. So you can have a bunch of H2s, but it's telling Google that, hey, I'm structuring my site and my pages in a way that can be understood by the user, right? And they can have these kind of logical breaks of the information. Okay, so content, this is going to give you a word count. So this is super useful, right? This would be useful when analyzing your own sites. And it can also be good for when you're doing your due diligence, if you want to dive in and kind of see how good people are. In our agency, we don't have pages like this that are 326 words. Typically ours are 1,000. When I was learning, people said, hey, do 500, 750. I find that I get more bang for the buck when I just write a little bit more on it and I can cover that topic deeper. So you can kind of get an overview of where their pages are with their content. Images, here's another good one. So if I kind of pull this thing out here, I can see all the images that are on my site, right? And you can see renovation 29 scaled, renovation 13 scaled. So you don't want to over optimize these. So over optimizing would be like kitchen renovation Dallas, kitchen renovation Plano, kitchen renovation like McKinney, all the areas that are surrounding it, and just having like the perfect stuff in here. So you want to balance it. You want to get in the terms, but you also want to make it kind of look organic. There's a lot of debates on like, hey, how much does this stuff matter? My viewpoint on it is like, if this gives me a 1% edge and I can find 25 other things that give me a 1% edge, I have a 25% edge, right? And we've been doing it where we name our photos and it's been working for us. You can also, if you kind of come down here, you can see that there's 94 pages that are missing alt text, or 94 images that are missing alt text. So about half their photos don't have alt text. That's something that I think Google specifically says that like, hey, for like, user-friendly websites, like it should have this stuff. It's being displayed in different ways. There's all kind, like, I know we built a big website for something in the health space, and we had to follow these like stringent rules. And so for blind people, like the alt text is something that could be read. They can't see the image, right? So taking that stuff in, and again, this isn't like, this isn't going to blow it away, but if you build your agency on solid fundamentals and you get this stuff in place and you're doing things at scale, like these small edges, they just kind of like keep adding up. Let's take every advantage we can. It's not that hard to rename an image, right? And if we just do that when we build our sites, then it's just done. Okay, I don't pay attention to the canonical stuff or a lot of these other things. Directives are going to help you understand like how the robots are kind of interpreting. You guys can read more about this stuff. AMP is something we haven't done in our agency, but I've heard a lot about this. This stands for accelerated mobile page. So it's kind of like a separate system where the mobile pages can load faster. I've heard that this has a positive influence on your SEO, and more and more searches are obviously have shifted to mobile. So we just haven't put that into place yet. Structured data. This is really important for like having your schema stuff set up. We've got video trainings where we've gone through schema in the past. I would absolutely take care of that. Sitemap. I can't remember if you guys are interested, just like throw it into the Facebook chat and I will respond with the name, but we have a plugin for WordPress that handles the sitemap for us. So we add pages, it just like adds it in there. So we don't really have to worry about that, but you should have a sitemap in place. Google said time and time again that it matters. So I would pay attention to that. All right, so that's a quick run through of Screaming Frog. Jeff, are we getting any questions on this? I don't see any.
No, I don't see any.
Okay, cool. All right, so I would definitely check this out. Like I said, we're putting this in our agency. We are going to start making this be a part of our quarterly audits for our sites. If you have less sites, then just do it more often, right? Maybe you do it every 6 weeks. Once you get it dialed in, a lot of this stuff shouldn't change. Like your H1s and H2s won't change so much. If you go to screamingfrog.co.uk, and then if you go up here and again, like I said, this is free. There's no like affiliate thing or anything like that happening. There's a user guide here in tutorials. I think the tutorials are great. If you go down here to the bottom, you can kind of, that will show you how to install it and all that stuff that is probably easy to find out. But you can see like popular uses and advanced features, right? So finding broken links, all kinds of different use cases that you can use this for to fine tune your website. And as I said, don't like super geek out on this stuff and focus on like, don't get in the weeds on stuff that there's bigger things that matter, like cracking the system with how you're going to get Google My Businesses. Like if you're going to spend a week trying to analyze the alt text on an image, or you can spend a week getting like 5 GMPs, right? Then like that is 1,000 times more important to get those GMPs, right? But this is just something that like you can have somebody have a BI on your team go through, identify these issues, and then what to do with it. Okay, cool. So all right, we added a couple new things inside of LeadSnap. We have a lot of updates that are queued up and coming for you guys. I've made the decision, I'm not going to really talk about all the stuff that we're building until it's ready to release, because it's just really hard to predict how long it's going to take. But we do have this, we did release a update into the automation. You'll notice now we have this caller info, so you guys have a lot more options for call information that you can include. So for the automation, if I wanted to, maybe I need to send a message to my client with the information on a call that came in. I could easily do that through this automation. So first I'm going to, let's just take it from the top, right? So I'll go to CRM, automations. I'll leave this one here. And then I'm going to create a new automation, and I'm going to start with a blank one. We have these templates in here, but we'll just start with a blank one. And so the way this works, right, is when the trigger is like, what is going to happen? What is going to start this sequence that I'm going to build out? So for this one, I'm going to say a phone call. And then I could qualify this further and say, okay, if the phone call is equal to missed or answered, I could do it that way. I could say if the duration of the call is greater than or equal to 30 seconds, then I'm going to do this. Okay. I've got these actions down here. So it's essentially saying like, okay, for any phone call that's greater than equal than 30 seconds, then I'll do whatever you add next. So in this case, I'll add a text message, and I could send it to the person who called as the contact. So this is all the contact information. I can send it to the client that's associated. I could send it to whatever number I put in here, and I could add multiple there. Okay, that actually, we added this a couple, I think 3 weeks ago, where you can have multiple recipients in there. So, and that's the same for emails, so that you don't have to have like a separate step for each one. Okay, so let's say I'm going to send it to the associated client. So because the phone number is associated with the company and the client is associated with the company, we know who the client is when a call comes in, right? So that's kind of how that works. So it's smart enough to understand who it should send it to, but you have the option to choose a specific client as well. Okay, so it might look like this. Hey, that call that came in was from us. Here is their info, right? And now I can just drag this stuff over and I could say, okay, here's the date of the call. Maybe I'll put a little space in here and I'll say this is the time of the call. And they might not know what it is if it's just without this here, if it's just like says 20 seconds. So I could just say that, and that's the duration. And maybe I want to include the call was, and this will tell them whether it was missed or answered, right? So it will update that status. And then I can include a recording of the call, recording link, right? And I could drag this over. So you've got a lot more. So this update gives you guys a lot more flexibility for informing your clients on the like the characteristics and properties of a call that has come in. So you know, we can have this go out right away, or you could, you know, if you wanted to wait, you know, 1 minute or something, you know, or perhaps it's a missed phone call and you want to send the text from the tracking number to the person that called and say, hey, sorry, I missed your call. What are you looking to have done? That wait step is often used in that situation. So does anybody have any questions about the automations as a whole, or the new call feature stuff that we just put in there? No. I didn't have the chat. Jeff, we good?
Yeah, I have a question, Raphael. Can we have an automation to send a review request to the client with a text message, but I want to set the automation manually?
Okay, so you want to kind of toss someone into, and you want to have this like stuff set up. So like when you add someone in, then it starts this process. That's my understanding, Raphael. If not, then clarify it. Otherwise, I'm gonna show you how to do that part of it. So
yes, it is exactly like that. Like, so because I'm on the cleaning niche, so like it takes a while to happen, and I know when they're gonna go visit. So I want to just grab their information from LeadSnaps, and then just like, here you go. Like, I know they're gonna go there Friday. So on like Friday afternoon, I would just want to go grab the client's number and text them like, hey, how so and so happened? Was it good? Can you give us a feedback?
yeah, awesome. I know exactly what you're looking for now. All right, so I'm just going to show the reputation management part of it just for a second so we can set a little context for people that aren't familiar with this. So the reputation management, the way this works is we can build a funnel. We can customize this, change the colors. We don't have to have this kind of crazy looking bear here that looks almost scary. So the point though is to get someone to this funnel. And so this is the funnel that they would, I could send a text message or an email, and I could send them a link to this funnel. And then I could say, hey, when they click on 5 stars, I'm going to redirect to Google. And then when they click on 1 star, perhaps I want to have feedback sent to a client. Okay, so that's kind of the basis of how this works. You can add in whatever sites you want to show up in this review sites area. And then once we have that, we want to create an automation. So if I go over here and I'm going to make a new automation, and then Raphael, there's this review request option here. So I'm just going to use this template as a starting spot. And you'll notice that it comes with some things kind of like out of the box. So let's look at this. There's no trigger here. So this is like, hey, we're anticipating this is going to be manual. And this step here, end if review submitted, is like, we're going to continue to do this sequence until a review is submitted. Google doesn't tell us when a review is submitted. So what we do is, like, if they click on 5 stars and they click one of these links, that's kind of like the last exit on the highway. So we're saying, okay, if that happens, we're considering that a review is submitted, but they may go there and not leave the review. So in that situation, like, we just can't get that confirmation. So that's our workaround. they go here and they enter the feedback, then that's what's going to stop this from moving forward, right? So if either two of those happen, then this will stop wherever we are in the sequence. So if you send the text message and they do one of those actions, then the whole thing stops. So they're not going on to these next steps, right? If they don't do that, then this will continue on as long as you've added this. Okay, so we have preloaded for you here. Hey, this is client name, so it's pulling in the company info. With company name, we really appreciate the trust you put in our business. So we're basically have some text in here. You can change this if you want. That's requesting a review. Okay, and you can see this is a text message down here. It says not the actual link, but by default, if you choose that template, it's going to include a link to the funnel. So it's not showing up here, but it is down here. If I go over here, I can look at the link. It says include link to review funnel with this, and I could change this label if I want. Okay, so that's kind of how that's working. And with text messages, I would encourage you guys to not have it set up as anytime, set it up during a window. So this will only send a text message between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. And that's going to use the time zone that's associated with the company that you created here. Okay, so if I send this text message, they don't submit the review, we've got that. Then the next step, it's going to wait 3 days and it's going to send an email and it's going to ask for it again. And then you can kind of see this link is going to go to that. So that's kind of how the funnel works. So your question is like, how do we get these people into this? I don't have like a necessary trigger. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different ways. All right, so the first way is let's go to contacts, right? Every lead that comes into the system it creates a contact. Okay, so this is a contact, right? If I go in here and I look at this contact, there's an option here to add this to automation, which I don't know, maybe I didn't let it load. There we go. You got to let the page load. And then I could select the sequence I want to add it into. So that's one way. Maybe you want to batch this and I've got like all these different ones, right? So I could say, hey, I want to add all of these. I could go here and I could add them to an automation, click apply, and then again, select it. So you can see that I've got 6 here. So maybe I've got 1,000 selected and I've got 3 reviews. So I don't want to, maybe I don't want to start all now because that could look suspicious if 1,000 reviews come in when I've only had 3 in the history of my company. So I could add it over time if I want. I could say, okay, I want to keep this like pretty legit. So I'll add 20 per week or something. Not everyone that submits, like I would say it's hard to go above 50% with like review requests. Like if you do that, you're doing well. So if I was doing really well and I sent 20, then maybe I would have 10 review opportunities, but you know, maybe this will only turn into 6 or 7 reviews. So just kind of think about that pacing when you do this. You also have the option to import. You can download our template and put in a bunch at the same time. Like maybe your client's got a database of people and you want to upload those and throw them all into an automation. So this, you can download the template, put in the people into the template, upload it, and then you can add a bunch, right? So this will add tons. Okay, so that's like the basic way to do it. Now, Raphael, I'm going to show you how I would do this. Okay, so we have the option to make whatever fields we want. Okay, so I can make a field for perhaps I want to go in and I'm going to make a field. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. So I'm going to make a field for this company here, and maybe I'll make this field be called like actually I've already done this. I've got one called job completed. So job status is completed. It's already on here. Okay, so job status is completed. So if I have my clients have access to this, this is going to get a little, hopefully this doesn't get confusing for you, but this is a pretty slick way to do this. Okay, so I can give my clients access to LeadSnap, right? I can give them access to edit this field as job completed. I could send them a text message that asks if the job is completed. Like let's say for cleaning, the sales cycle is 6 days. Like that's how long it goes, maybe. So what if I had what if I made an automation and this one's going to go to my client and I'm going to say like, hey, when a new phone call comes in and the phone call is for my cleaning company, so I'd select that company as the first filter, and then I'll set the duration as greater than or equal to 60 seconds. And I'm going to send a text message to my clients, and I'm going to say, so I'm going to change this to the client, and I'll say, hey, were you able to close this lead? If so, please update the status to completed. Here is a link. They've got access to LeadSnap. Here is a link to the lead so you can update it. And this time for the link options, I'm going to include a link, but I'm not going to go to the funnel. I'm going to go to the review, to the lead details. Update here, right? So now I've got a text message that's going to go out if it's greater than 60 seconds. But because I know the sales cycle is like 6 days, I'm going to wait 6 days to send this message. And I can also include stuff about this, right? Like maybe I want to include the name of the contact and their email. So I want to make it really easy for them to know whether they close this one or not. Maybe like if, depending if they're using the system and their address is in there, you could put that in there. You could put in their phone number. So they've got a link to it. And then I can also include that recording that I had there too, right? So I'll say this is the recording. Okay. So that's the recording. Okay. So this will allow them to update this. So automatically you're requesting it. You like the lead comes in and meets whatever like qualifiers you've set up. And then 6 days later, it's automatically gonna have them click like, okay, for them to update it. You also, if you had another trigger, so I'm going to do a, well, I already had it set up. So, okay, so there's that automation to gather the answer. And then what if I had an automation that the trigger was when a field status is updated? And I could say like, okay, if this field status is updated for job status, if it's set to sold, then I can start my review sequence, right? So I could automatically follow up, and then like their response to that follow-up could automatically trigger the review sequence. So if you can get your clients enrolled in this, and that's the challenging part of this, the automation will crush it, but how are you going to get your clients enrolled in this? So here's the strategy is like, look, I'm exclusive with you. The more reviews you get, the more leads we're going to get, because that's going to help us rank better, right? And the more reviews you get, the more trust you're going to have. So it's going to make it easier for you to close jobs. And the more trust you have and the busier schedule, you could probably raise your price. So now you can start selling jobs for more. If there's a company that has 700 reviews and you're competing against another company that has 4 reviews, but the first company with all their reviews is 20% more expensive, I'm probably going to pay the extra money depending on what I'm having done, right? So that's how you can enroll them in this. And if you can sell them on this, you could have a completely automated, like they're doing the button click to say, okay, this is sold. And then that will automatically put them into that review funnel. So one of the cool things that we're going to be adding in here is I'm going to set it up so it's a yes or a no. Like we don't have this built yet, but I want to set it up so it sends out that text message. It's like, was this job closed? And if they click yes, then we can have it update the field. And if they click no, then we can have it do this, right? So that way they don't even have to log in. They can just look at the lead details and then go from there. So yeah, Raphael, hopefully that gives you a full overview. I see Beerend, you got your hand up. What's up, brother?
Okay, so this is a question about automations as well. I know that also Shiv shared on the last call he was at that he would send an email every time he got leads, and he would do that every few days to get as many touch points as possible to make them realize the value and really position yourself. Is there a way to automate that through the CRM with text or email, like sending the calls with the recording attached to it?
Yeah. I mean, you could essentially do what we were doing just for text messages, but just choose this email option and include
Yes.
all the caller information. Here's like, so this could be, if you try to include a field that is blank, Like we don't have the data for it. So if you include, maybe it's a phone call and you send an email to the client and there's no email address. You're trying to include like street address in this email. It's not going to show up because it's not in our system, right? So you need to respect the method that the lead comes in when you send out this message and you grab these like properties. But if you say it's a phone call, like if I say, okay, the trigger is a phone call, I know that I have all this caller info here. So I can include that in an email.
Yes.
I can include it I can say, hey, I want to send it to the client, right? Is that what you're asking, Beerend?
Yes, and can you do that on like you don't want to be annoying as in one per customer that comes in. Can you do like once per week and give like a whole list? Like these are all the numbers and like an overview like of the
I see what
weekly
you're asking.
leads coming
Yeah.
in
Okay.
to help sell the deal and make them see the value.
So we have a reporting feature that's coming out where you're going to be able to kind of brand your own reports. And then you could say, I want to schedule this report to go out each week. And I want to include the leads that have come in the last 7 days. And maybe I want to put my logo in and all my branding. And I'm going to gather these companies. So we're
I think
on
that's
the,
huge.
yeah, we're on the cusp of releasing that. The reporting stuff, we're starting out with the calls and then we're adding leads. But then like the reporting thing, when we're done, there may be 100 reports to choose from and the ability to make custom ones. But we're starting out with the calls report first. So that's going to be the first one. And then it's going to be followed by a bunch of others. But, you know, we had to
I
build
think
out.
that's so big.
Yeah, especially when you kind of think about the breadth of the functionality in LeadSnap and being able to blend in all these different things into a report. So if you wanted to have like a report that gets sent out to you on a weekly basis that has like your Google Analytics data and like your heat map averages and maybe like your phone calls that are greater than 60 seconds and the reviews that have come in and like show me like GMB stuff that like all this different stuff that's in the system blended into a scheduled report. So
That's great.
I want to show you guys another little hidden feature that we just added in here. So it's going to be over here in GMB. So part of this was here. Part of it is new. Okay, so look at the columns here. So these are the GMBs that are in here. Let's say I've got this. These are the columns. So I could choose all these different columns in here. Okay, so the ones that I want you to pay attention to, this is the last review date, right? So this is actually one that got suspended, but you can kind of see the last review is in October. This new column here, unreplied review count. So you want to reply to your reviews. And as you grow and you have like tons of GMBs in the system, like you have to stay on top of it. So kind of the way we're shifting this like GMB listing page is to almost be a spreadsheet that's pulling in real data. The media count will tell you how many photos you have, right? So you should have 30 or 40 photos. And if you only have 14, then this can be a signal that there's an issue. If I've got 7 reviews that haven't been replied to, well, then I should go in, I should reply to those reviews, right? So we're going to keep on building on this, but this is a couple of features that we've added in here just to make it easier so that you're staying on top of the weaknesses or like, you know, the ongoing maintenance that's associated with your Google My Business. Okay, so I think that's super cool. You can add it through the columns area there. All right, so that's kind of the feature stuff that I wanted to share with you guys, some of the tweaks. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the accountability groups. So the new accountability groups are starting. Tomorrow is the deadline. I know that a lot of you guys have reached out where you're like, hey, I submitted this, but I haven't had confirmation. So we've got it. We've got all your stuff. We're just kind of like getting organized. We're building the groups. For those of you guys that haven't, are not familiar with the accountability groups, there has been just like a ton of success from the people that have participated in the accountability groups. I've heard nothing but, well, I've heard almost nothing but positive feedback. Okay. So if you decide that you want to be in the accountability group, you need to fill it out today. We'll throw it into the Facebook chat when we post this video, since we weren't able to stream live today. We will post a link to the accountability group. This is not something to enter into lightly, okay? We will kick people out of the groups. That's like, we're going to be a little bit more proactive now. If you join an accountability group and you're not showing up for the calls, we're going to boot you from the group. It doesn't mean we don't love you, still love you, but there's rules to being in the accountability group. If you are like the little bad wheel on the shopping cart and it's affecting the experience for everyone else. So we're going to replace that wheel. We're going to put someone in there that is committed to it. So it's a weekly call. You need your goals. So you set up your 90-day goals, you work backwards. We have a number of, hey, Jeff, when we do this post, can you, let's include a link to one of the past calls where we kind of set this up. We have a planning sheet. So you're going to have 90 days. You can set up like 3 to 5 goals. I think it's a good idea if they're not all business goals, right? It's also important that if you are in a relationship or you have some other responsibilities, if I'm, so I have a wife, right? And if I'm going to take on like an aggressive 90-day sprint on what I need to accomplish, I need to have her on board, right? You need to understand the cost of this, because otherwise, once the idea and the benefit of being in this kind of wears off and the cost is still there, then you're not going to have the results. So you need to mentally prepare for the 90-day cost that's associated with this. So it could be that, hey, I want to lose like 10 pounds. I want to build 15 websites. I want to like, maybe I want to learn Spanish, like whatever it is. So I would mix in some, like, you want to have a balanced life, right? This accountability group and LeadSnap this is a business mastermind group, but we want to be realistic and we want things to move forward together. So some of the benefits I've heard from people is like creating the connections with the other people in your group. I think a lot of what is learned is caught, not taught. So what does that mean? So like we can go here and I can give you guys these videos each week where I'm like teaching you a tactic, but a lot of times some of the biggest takeaways are going to come from the conversations that happen and not just from like a prepared demonstration, right? So what's caught in those conversations where it's like, oh, that's how you think about this? Why do you think about it that way? And then explain that. And then it's like, oh, wow, I was thinking about this wrong, right? So that like having that dynamic when you're like in a group with other people that are serious, there's a huge benefit for this. Some of you guys, if you make this commitment and you don't want to get kicked out of the group, then you have to like stay towards what you're supposed to be doing. And you have to have this attitude of, I'm going to stand for somebody else within my group. So if Beerend's in my group and Beerend says like, hey, I need to lose 50 pounds. I don't recommend that for you, Beerend. I can only see from like here up, but you look like 50 pounds would break you. So, but if Beerend wants to lose 50 pounds and he's like, the way I'm going to do this, and this is part of the planning sheet, is I'm going to go to the gym like 5 days a week and I'm going to eat healthy. And then like Beerend is not going to the gym. We do our call, we check in. Beerend, how many times you go to the gym? I went to the gym 1 time. Beerend, you have to have enough like integrity and care about Beerend enough to call him out on his shit and say, Beerend, like, why aren't you going to the gym, man? This is why you said you wanted to do this. And you should have the other people's goals kind of memorized and like understand what they are. And then like, Beerend, you said you wanted to lose weight because you feel like you're unhealthy and you don't have energy. And, this is something you've been doing. Like you are not doing the things that are necessary to reach your goal. You're going to have to make a change, right? So that's how this group should work, right? There's a lot of business strategies that are being talked about in this. You guys are like, there's no charge for it, but it's just kind of something that we try to facilitate for the people. Our goal is to have as many successful people within our group. And we feel that, we've seen these accountability groups can really help. So if you're interested in it, we will include the video. You can watch it. Be clear on it. Don't commit if you're not sure, right? Because that's just going to make it worse for other people. You don't have to do this, but if you do it, then do it, right? You got 90 days. It's a 90-day sprint to reach your goals. You're going to set your goal. You want it to be kind of a stretchy, aggressive goal. You're going to work backwards. So if Beerend wants to lose 50 pounds over the next 90 days, then on day 45, if this is something that's linear, he should have 25 pounds lost. Certain things are not going to be linear. If I want to land 10 clients, then like, that's probably not a linear goal unless I already have these sites built, ranking, leads coming in, all this stuff. But what I mean by not linear is like, maybe at day 45, it's okay. I'm planning on having 0 clients at day 45 because I've had to do all this like other stuff to get it here. But I need to start closing my clients on like day 70, right? So you want to think about this stuff. It doesn't have to be linear, but take it into account. Set yourself up for success by thinking about all the little details, right? So we essentially are halfway through the year. It's the beginning of quarter 3, right? So 90 days, we're going to be going into quarter 4. If you guys are trying to reach some goals, you're trying to change your life with the strategies here, this business model, then like something needs to happen for you in the next 90 days to move that stuff forward. And the accountability groups are a way to plan that out, right? I can't remember exactly what the percentage is, but I think it's like people that write things down, they write down their plan, they're like 40% more likely. The people that have a weekly check-in, it goes up to like 70% more likely. I don't know the exact stats. If you watch the other videos, I have it on those videos, but it is like it seems unequivocal evidence that it's like, or undeniable evidence that planning this stuff out, setting up a schedule, and then working backwards, it has great results. And we've seen that time and time again from the people in the past accountability groups. So, all right, groups, you guys with the groups, you can decide what day and what time. So with the sign-up sheet, it asks for your revenue because we want to have like-minded people in the same groups. We also ask for time zone, your preferred meeting time. So that way we can make sure we're paying attention to the availability that people have. So, all right, guys, that's all I have for the call today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, once we post the video, like I said, these calls are free, but we want like the payment when you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to pay cash for it. But we do love to hear the feedback on the takeaways so that we can shape the call. So if you guys could share the biggest takeaways, throw it as a comment in the Facebook group. The Zoom ones will disappear. Throw it in as a comment in the Facebook group. We will include a link, like I said, to a past call where we go over in more details. We'll include a link to the sign up form as well as the templates for the sheets. For those of you guys that are in the group, we'll be reaching out to you and creating Facebook groups. I think on Friday, we'll put you guys in your group and then you guys will go from there. Okay.
You guys, look in the Facebook group, there's already posts with everything linked up and ready to roll. So I'll pin that to the top and you'll be able to see.
That makes it easier.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So you guys, this is the final few days of quarter number 2. So next time we meet, we'll be in quarter 3. What are you guys going to do over the next week to be in a better position, right? It doesn't have to be like I landed a new client. It could be that I've sent out, like Beerend said, he sent out a bunch of postcards, like, but do something. Don't be in the same spot 7 days from now. That time's wasted. Our time is short. All right, guys, you guys have a great night, day, wherever you are. Enjoy. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the group. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Adios, amigos.